Before we start today's session, I just want to do a very quick warm-up with everyone. Can anybody tell me what this is here on the board? Anybody? Let's see. Yes, Timmy. Is it a grocery shopping list? A grocery shopping list? That's really the best you could come up with, Timmy? You know, I don't even know why I keep doing this job. You know what? I quit. I don't even understand. No, I'm done. I can't do this. I literally cannot. Is what I would say. Let me tell you about the wonderful world of Numpad Notation. If you were curious, the thing you saw before is a combo from BlazBlue. Specifically, it's a bullet combo that you can do near the corner. But Star, what do all the numbers mean? Why don't you just say crouching B, crouching C, half circle 4? And that's exactly why. You see, Numpad Notation takes away all those long phrases and replaces them with easier and shorter ones, like 2B or 2C. But before we get into why Numpad Notation should be used as a standard for all 2D fighting games, let's quickly go over what it is. You've probably seen someone ask, what is Numpad Notation exactly? And get sent this image right here. Yeah. That there, that's the stuff, man. Love that shit. The numbers all correspond to directions that you see on a standard numpad on a keyboard, hence the name Numpad Notation. Yeah, I know. Generally speaking, 2 is down, 4 is left, 6 is right, 8 is up, and all the diagonals and junk in between, with 5 always being neutral. So, if we yet again look at our example combo from earlier, we see that when we put directions and buttons together, we'll get different attacks. Now, you can use your half-screen button and make your opponent rage and post about it on Twitter in Numpad Notation. Isn't that fucking fantastic? Special moves are generally written with more than one number in them. Let's take a standard fireball, for example. These are done with wow, I can't even say it. These are done with quarter circle forward and a button, right? Wrong. You're so wrong for that. Out here in these streets, we don't say quarter circle forward or forward down back. We say 2-3-6 or 6-2-3. Get out of here with your icky, disgusting, filthy, volatile inputs. I only want Numpad Notation. I can't hear inputs. So, if we want to do a fireball, the input would be written as a 2-3-6. For something like a DP, the input will be written as a 6-2-3. Like, do you see how much easier it is to write it like this instead of those long-ass input names everyone's so accustomed to? The thing too is that it just makes it way easier when you're typing out full-on combos. Being able to take away the longer input names and replace it with numbers and buttons can help type it out faster if you need to tell somebody that training mode TOD that you've been working on all week that you claim to have hit in game. You swear you hit it in game. But you don't have a clip of it. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Huh? This even goes to as far as charge inputs and whatnot. Let's take a quick example. What you're about to see here is a combo from Under Night's Phonon, who generally likes to use a lot of charge moves in her combos. Whenever you look at combos, or even notation in general for a character, there's always a lot of things that you have to look for. First, always, and I mean always, check the number before the button input. Trust me, you will drop most of the stuff you do because you did the wrong input. It's happened to me before, and it does not feel good. If you see a number or a button in a bracket, it means that it is a charge input, which, you know, means that you have to charge the move. Get it? Charge, input, charge the move. Alright. Let's... No? Okay. If you see a number after an input, that usually refers to how many times a move has to hit in order for the combo to work. You usually only really see that on multi-hit moves, or, you know, even if a move has like 2 hits, basically anything with multi-hits. If you see something with a lowercase j, that means that it is something with a jump attack, with TK being a tiger knee input, which, if you don't know what a tiger knee input is, you know, go to the fighting game glossary. Honestly, if there's any term that you don't understand in this video, because I know maybe some people aren't really into fighting games, go to the fighting game glossary. They have everything. I'll even put a link in it in the description. It's great and it's helped me a lot, so you should definitely go check that out. Specific games have their own specific notations and inputs, but for the most part, the rules of numpad notation still stay the same. For example, some games like GB vs. R or DBFZ will use L, M, and H for their buttons. But for the most part, numpad notation will still follow the same basic rules. Now that you all are just a little bit smarter about numpad notation and can stop asking what it is, let's quickly talk about why it should be the standard for 2D fighting games going forward. When I say 2D fighters, I mean games like Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, KOF, and you know, everything that is basically a 2D fighter. Any game that players can move in a 3D space, like Tekken or whatnot, is basically just out of the question, because I know they have their own input systems. So yeah, Mid-Mitsu Maizen, Curse Clashed. I'm probably gonna get so much hate for that, because I called it mid. I never even watched the show myself, but I hear it's mid, so I guess I'm influenced. Being able to quickly communicate inputs to somebody is always a great thing. Let's say, for example, you decide to write up one of those huge-ass guides for a character that just came out 2 minutes ago. You don't want to be sitting there writing in inputs like crouching fierce, jumping heavy, forward, I don't know, heavy punch or whatnot. All you have to do is just simplify it. That's the whole game here, just simplifying everything. 2 HP, JHP, 236 LP. Like, again, do you see how much easier it is to write it like this? Now, I know maybe some of the SF fanboys are like, oh, but we're not an anime fighter, we have our own input system, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Shut up. We know you have your own input system because it gets eaten like 15 times during a match. How many times do I have to play the game and I do drive rush and I try to do a command grab with Muno and instead I get super? No hate to SO6, that game is great. Well, if that's the case, let's take a look at one of my all-time favorite fighting games, Skullgirls. Skuggies is a 6-button fighter just like Street Fighter. Why is that important, you ask? It's because they also write their inputs in numpad notation. Just like it was said earlier, numpad notation is literally just the number corresponding to the direction and whatever button needs to be pressed. Again, simplification. Now, you can feel however you want about Skullgirls, you know, because I know they had their whole censorship thing or whatever. I mean, you're only going to see the panties for like 3 frames. Trust me, it is not that important. I know if people somehow see this video, they're going to have their own opinions and all about whether games should adopt this or not, but this is just my personal thoughts on why it should be adopted and why it would just be easier for the community. Especially to those awesome people who write up those 18-page long guides on how to do that one Oki setup that you'll probably forget once you boot up ranked again. At the end of the day, this is just my personal preference. I always just like to write stuff in numpad notation because it's just easier, in my opinion. I just think it should be something that we should look into to help simplify a lot of things for the newer players. So, yeah, I don't know, hashtag numpad notation on Twitter or something like that. I don't freaking know. I'm trying something new with my style of videos now, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments about your stance on numpad notation. And while you're there, make sure you hit that like button because it makes a really cool animation when you do. And trust me, it's really cool. You should try it for yourself. I promise it will be great. Also, if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel as I plan to make more videos in this style. I also stream on Twitch on the weekends, so if you can, follow me there too. Like always, keep shining like the stars that you are, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.